What's going on, people? So I have a lot of running shoes, right? I think that's pretty well known at this point. In case you're curious or whatever, all the stuff that I have bought that, unless I said it was for somebody else, anything I bought did like the full on feet review or whatever, generally is for me, right? And I still have all of it. So I'm not going to do a full lineup of all the shoes that I could run in, just the ones that I prefer to run in based on what's going on for that day, right? So that's why I have a few things here that you probably can't fully see because the camera probably cuts off at some point. Either way, so we're going to kick things off with the standard stuff like the daily trainers, right? So that for me is the Gel-Kayano 32 from Asics. I've said a lot of good things about the Kayano series over the years, and even though I don't like some of the things that they've done visually speaking, they work out very well for me. So I can go out, I can wear these day to day. They feel really good. I mean, I don't really look at shoes like running shoes as like, oh, well, what would be good for walking around in? Because they're running shoes. I mean, you're paying for stuff that you're not going to use if you're just walking in them in a lot of cases. But I will say these, unlike certain things or whatever, I can walk around in these, go to the thing, run around, spend the rest of the day in them or whatever, and not feel weird, unlike certain stuff, right? So anyways, they got that going for them. Also, to me, even though they aren't like a speedy shoe, I can still move fairly quickly in them because, again, it's not always about just buying some fancy carbon type shoe. You got to also be able to put the effort in for yourself. So the idea being, if I go out there and I can run a 7-minute pace, 5-6 miles or something in these, when it comes to doing that in something like this, it's going to be a lot faster, a lot smoother. Things are just going to be better overall, right? So again, that's why these are like a daily trainer, and then you have something else for race day. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about race day just a little bit, huh? Now, I haven't fully worn these as much. This is the Metaspeed Ray from Asics, right? I have worn the Sky a good bit, right? I just did a 5K in these last Saturday. Things went very well, right? But the thing is, as much as I liked those, there's no way the Ray can't be better. Unfortunately, I was supposed to be at a 5K in these today to kind of settle some thoughts, but I went out for a track workout in these a week or two ago. Went out to a group run with some other people like recently. So I know that these things have some serious potential in them, and I'm quite sure that these are going to be my go-to for race day things, at least for the time being, right? To give people an idea, this video is being recorded on August 12th of 2025, so this stuff that I'm saying is current as of right now. So there you go, race day wise, stuff like this, right? Because they are carbon plated shoes, both of these, the Metaspeed Sky, the Metaspeed Ray, both carbon plated shoes, right? So they're going to give you that extra snap and all that extra propulsion and whatnot with each step. So you can move along pretty quick. They're lightweight, all that stuff that you want if you're going out for a purpose on race day, right? Now I will say this also. I do feel like the carbon plated shoes, while very well done and get you the performance you want, can be a little bit overhyped in some ways to where it's almost like people are feeling like they have to have them. And I honestly feel that that's not the case. If you saw my Adios Pro 4 and Evo SL video, you kind of know where my thoughts are on that. Anyways, moving along. So also, sticking with race day, that's like more of a shorter race day, right? I'm talking like 5Ks and stuff like that, maybe an 8K or something. The 10K is when it gets in a weird territory depending on who you are, right? But if I'm going to be out there for a while, right? I did a 10 miler in these, so I wasn't like running fast, but you still want to be able to move quickly, right? I don't know why that came out that way. So you still want to be able to move quickly, right? But you're going to be out on your feet for a bit, right? So something like this is nice because it has the extra cushion in there. This is the Asics Megablast, by the way. It has that extra cushion in there, which is cool, right? And it's got a lot of like responsiveness in there too to kind of keep you moving forward. So these, even like from the first day I broke these out when it was all congested and whatnot, we're waiting on the group to break up, I could still feel like I was going to be able to move quite well in these. And that was exactly how things played out. So if it's like a race day sort of situation and I want something and I'm going to be out there longer, this is one that I would consider. So like a half marathon also, right? because I did a half marathon in the Metaspeed Edge, and for some reasons that could be my own doing. Ultimately, I just didn't really care for it. It worked out well enough, but I feel like there could have been a better choice, right? And that is where these could have come in. But again, you know, I did the thing that made sense at the time. It's a whole story for another day. Trail running, right? I do a good bit of trail running, and or at least I try to. I haven't done as much lately, to be honest. Trail running wise, right? I do my share when I can, and so my overall preference right now is going to be this right here. This is from Nike, the Pegasus Trail 5, right? So they do everything that I want them to do. They're comfortable, they're lightweight, they've got like a decent upper on there that won't get all like torn up and whatnot so easily, or like when you're running through, if they're like shrubs and such. So that's very cool. I do like how things have played out with the Pegasus Trail series for the last few years, and I don't see my mind really changing on that necessarily, as far as like something that's accessible for sure. But I will say this is also worth considering. This is the same thing, but it's the Gore-Tex version. And after a trail run for a DC half marathon, and then Warped Tour the next day, and the day after that or something, this right here it's not okay. Like, visually speaking, it has seen better days. And one thing that I will add in here real quick is I did recently pick up this is a carbon plated trail shoe from Asics, the Metaspeed Trail, which is likely to be like very good, right? But I haven't worn them yet, so that's why if you're wondering where these rank for me and why I'm not mentioning them, that's why. This is, you know, still unworn. That's why the tag's still on them. But anyway, so these right here, very nice. I have said a lot of good things about the Pegasus line in general, minus the premium, and I'm gonna reiterate some of that with those trail shoes. Now, let's say it's a rainy day like it is today, right? I should be out doing a 5K in those Rays like I was just talking about, but you know, the world had different plans. So when that comes around, the Brooks Adrenaline GTX 24 GTS, or I think I got that backwards somewhere in there. I think the GTX is supposed to be at the beginning, the GTS is towards the end. Either way, whatever it is, this right here, the Gore-Tex version of the Adrenalines, has worked out great for me. I've done a couple runs in the rain with them. I generally don't go out into the rain and run, right? Like if it's raining, I just don't. But if I am already out there, or if I'm going to a thing and it looks like it's going to be rainy, it's like, all right, well, I'm already committed to it, so that's when I break these things out. And much like the Gore-Tex Pegasus Trail 5s I was talking about, the times that I have worn these, things have worked out very well. Feet stay dry. And the Adrenaline is actually a pretty nice shoe to wear. The GTS part comes in for stability, go-to stability, right? Or go-to support, excuse me. So if that's a thing that you need, then definitely look at the Adrenaline line. But the GTS isn't limited just to that model. They also have Glycerin GTSs, and I think they had some Ghost ones as well. I don't know if they still do that or not, but I've seen the GTS for other things, whatever. Just kind of gives you these little guide rails on the side. Kind of helps keep your feet in line and all that stuff. So that's what I'm going with if it's a rainy day. So on with that. And then finishing things off, right? Sometimes you're going out like it's going to be a nice, easy day, like a recovery run type of day, right? Or sometimes if I'm just pacing somebody who's a good bit slower than I am, right? Nothing against them, it's just everybody runs at their own pace, right? So if I'm going to be out there on my feet a little bit slower, a little bit more impact and whatnot along the way, this right here, the Glycerin Max from Brooks, huge fan of these. I said it when I first got the brown pair, what was that, Falcon Fog, something like that. When I got those, I was saying that this might be one of my pickups of the year, and I still stand by that because I still stand by that. Just take my word for it. These are really nice. If you're looking for something that's going to give you some nice, solid comfort, not really slow you down too much. I mean, I did a half in these, and I did, a 7:25 pace throughout the whole thing, so you can still move all right in them. You got to work for it a little bit, sure, but they're also not really made for that. So taking these out on like normal days for just like the recovery runs and anything else that might just be slower and longer for whatever the reason may be, this is definitely something to consider. Also, as far as these go, the 3 or the two, excuse me, should be coming out in November or December. I can't remember exactly. But if you are interested in these, hold off just a little bit because those price drops are coming real soon, people. So there we go. That's my go-to lineup or whatever. I have other stuff, right? But it's just like, what is my favorite? Yes, like, so like a daily runners thing, like, yeah, I'm going with the Kayano. But there is nothing bad to be said about those Supernova Rises. Like, I'm a huge fan of those, actually. Race day shoes, like, yeah, I'm not always going to break out those. I might break out those Hyperion 2s, but also the Hyperion 2s, like, no point in talking about them in a way because they're hard to find now, right? Because they're not in cycle anymore. So the stuff that you saw here is like the things that would come to mind first if I was going out for one of those days. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, if I want to wear other stuff, I'll just pull out other stuff just to keep the rotation going. So there you go. From me to you. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, wherever you are. Now, I'm done recording videos. Now I just gotta edit all this crap. Later, people.